Talk about oversharing, right? You won't get cancer from masturbating. Not judging, been there, done that. But I officially declare open the first episode of Rayssentials. Thank you. So it's episode number 1. I'm a little nervous, but I decided to start with a fairly easy topic to, ease into it, let the people, start with the basis. So today we're going to talk about masturbation. Yay. I'm mostly going to talk about vulva bearers, cis woman, whatever, whoever. Very important. When you call it the vagina is actually the inside of the genitalia, whereas the vulva is what people describe as the vagina, but it isn't. Already learning things, look at you! I want to start off by saying that masturbation is a safe and healthy activity. No, you will not go blind if you masturbate. It has no medical basis, so don't worry, you're fine. You won't get cancer from masturbating. It won't always cause sexual dysfunction. I don't know what kind of myth there are out there, but when I researched on the topic, I saw a lot of fake news. I'm not a medical advisor, I'm not a gynecologist, I'm not a sexologist, I'm a psych student, psych/crim student. And also, lots of the things that I'm gonna say, not all, but most, are from this book, Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski, which she has a PhD. So she's a pro, and she's the professional. I also got all my 5 reasons from scientific articles that were peer-reviewed. Also, before I forget, remember to always pee after sex. Whether it's with a partner or by yourself, always pee after sex. And finally, if you're watching this kind of being uncomfortable and all of that, it's okay to be curious about yourself. I'm glad you're here. I'll do my best to use easy terms that everyone can understand. And if you have any questions, don't forget to send them to me at this email address so that I can use your question anonymously in another episode. First reason, I wanted to start with the most important. Masturbating helps you to connect with yourself, to know yourself more, and therefore to discover what you really like, what you don't like, what you don't like. It's a spectrum, right? With solo sex, there isn't that pressure to perform or to look pretty, to not make any faces. There's no guilt or shame when it comes to someone else because you were by yourself. Also very important, solo sex has no risk of STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and no risk of pregnancy because there's no sperm involved. Every therapist will tell you you can't be pleasured unless you know how to pleasure yourself first. Now, you don't have to feel pressure to want to do it. If it's something that you've always been curious about, do it, have fun, whether it's with toys, your hands, ice, whatever you want to try it, as long as it's safe, and everything that comes in contact with your vulva is obviously cleaned, because it's still an organ, right? So you wouldn't put anything in your mouth without washing it first. Same thing with those bottom lips, okay? Second, more medical, I guess for the woman, it can prevent cervical infections, and actually peeing right after sex will also prevent urinary tract infections. When you're sexually aroused, your cervix is gonna open up, and if you've heard of women that do choose to have kids or women that have kids, they have to do pelvic floor exercises because it's a muscle. If while masturbating you ever finish or come or orgasm, whatever you want to call it, your pelvic floor will contract itself. It's kind of like putting your butt cheeks together, except you don't control it. It's an automatic response of your body. That's what pregnant women usually have to do after having had a baby, because obviously there was a human inside. So you gotta get that muscle back, and that will help with peeing, and that's why most pregnant women have to wear diapers after giving birth, because that muscle it's not that it's not there anymore, but you have to work on it. Masturbating will make your cervix and pelvic floor stronger. It's prevention almost. As the cervix stretches, fluid circulation increases, allowing for cervical fluids full of bacteria to be flushed out of the body. Super cool, right? Third, masturbation acts as a stress reliever. That's right. When you concentrate on only one thought, which is your own pleasure, self-pleasuring, that helps your mind to relax. And it's actually also been described as like the slipping pill. Even if you don't necessarily finish, doesn't have to be your own goal. It releases some chemicals like dopamine that kind of help you also being more happy, and therefore helps to reduce the risk a little bit. Doesn't like cure it of depression, anxiety, all that non-fun stuff. Dopamine is that, not the happiness chemical because that's serotonin, but it's more of the, it gives like the sense of pleasure, and that calms your body. You're in like a calm state, if that makes sense. Fourth, I want to say this one depending on who you... So sorry for the lack of image, my phone decided to give up on me, but basically this tip was about your period. So some people will actually feel heightened sensations. Also, masturbation is known to relieve cramps. That's not always the case for everybody, so if you're not feeling it, don't force it. But for some people, during their periods, they get the best masturbation they ever have felt. So if that's something you want to go for it. Heightened sensations don't just mean the clitoris. Experience, see what feels right, and then just have fun. Whatever you want to try, experiment. You're by yourself, no one's judging you, no one's looking at you, no pressure. Follow what feels good. And then finally, and believe me or not, I swear on my life, that masturbation gave me little abs. Talk about oversharing, right? Basically, it's a workout for your muscles, because whether you come or not, whether you finish or not, you will be contracting your pelvic floor muscles, right? Remember that area we talked about? It's just like a little bit above. It's usually where you have your body hair. It's like, you know, that line, and you have your belly button. Usually the pelvic floor is like that, but like on the inside. All of that to say, it is a workout, so you know, it's a pleasurable workout. I have abs now. That's all I'll say. That's it for my 5 reasons why masturbating is great for you. Also, something that I've learned in this book that I didn't know, I think you should know. Being wet doesn't mean you're aroused, and vice versa. There's no correlation between wetness and arousal. I was surprised because, you know, porn makes you think that the wetter you are, the more excited you are. False. I know. I mean, I don't know if you're stunned, but the woman was too stunned to speak for me. Especially like with quarantine and being at home and stuff like that. People kind of get lazy, not judging, been there, done that. If you've been masturbating for a long time, keep in mind to mix up your technique. You don't want to get addicted, which is, it's not an addiction, but it's going to be harder to like get back into something else. You want to mix your technique. So don't always use the same positions or the same toys at like the same, you know, toys that have different levels. Don't always use the same level. Change the mood, put some candles, put some music, whatever you want, but just make sure to switch it up. And of course, the more you experiment, the more you switch it up, the more likely you are to find pleasure with someone else. If we're talking about like a one-night stand, you may not want to educate the person on what to do. That's, again, your call. But for like long-time partners, it would be nice to enjoy sex, right? Basically, not mixing up your techniques can kind of lead to less responsive stimulations over time. Doesn't mean you won't feel a thing anymore. It's just gonna be maybe a little bit trickier to get in the mood, even by yourself. So just keep that in mind. Don't forget to lock the door to make sure you're like fully comfortable. I hope this was very clear. Again, highly suggest this book, Come As You Are, Emily Nagoski, not sponsored. I learned a lot. I'm only on my chapter 3. I thought it was interesting. I hope this was entertaining. I hope you learned something. I hope that you can let your friends know that they have to pee after sex. So many people don't know that. It's wild. That's how you get infections. That's how, you know, it starts to hurt, it starts to itch, it starts to burn. Pee after sex, please. Even if you haven't finished. By the time I post this video, Christmas is in like 2 days, I think. If you do celebrate holidays and stuff like that, I wanted to wish you a very merry season. I hope you get to be with your loved ones. Wish you nothing but the best. Sending you good vibes. Before you go, remember to empty your email boxes because that pollution is not cute. Thanks for tuning in. Again, that email address, send me your sex questions, send me any topics you would want me to cover, anything. It would really help me, so I appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, like the video, subscribe, let me know what you thought of it. Did you learn anything? Was it boring? Did you already know everything? Are you a pro? Again, this is the first episode, so I really want to do things right. Your feedback is everything. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.